biggest misconception is that we've got like some supercomputer somewhere that like is scraping the internet for every piece of data and like somehow has access to like classified information at all of the governments. And like when we say 90 seconds, it's, some exact formula. Um, we bring really, really smart scientists into the room to debate and discuss it, but ultimately they know that it's just a metaphor and it's just a symbol. Like our hope is that the Doomsday Clock is the start of a conversation about these issues, not like, oh, it's 90 seconds. Okay, that's bad, right? It should be, oh, it's 90 seconds. I gotta learn more about this because it's clearly pressing. I'm trying to think of stuff that comes up a lot. I get asked a lot about Cuban Missile Crisis. So if you go back and look at the timeline, the Doomsday Clock didn't move, but you got to also think back in the 60s when it happened, we were still a print magazine that was doing a publication once a month. And the Cuban Missile Crisis was so short that it happened entirely between two issues. And the way it resolved with moving missiles out of Cuba, at the time they wouldn't have known, but also moving missiles out of Turkey, and setting up a red line so that the Moscow and the US could talk to each other and potentially avoid like accidental collisions or accidental escalation. The editors at the Doomsday or at the Bulletin said actually things are a little bit safer. Like obviously it was super risky during the crisis itself, but like we left it on a better footing. And then, I mean, so I went to American University in DC for college, and we have a big plaque on the campus where President Kennedy came and gave his strategy for peace speech a few months after the Cuban Missile Crisis. And he kind of laid out the ideas of how you could start doing disarmament and eventually get rid of nuclear weapons. A little while after that, he was killed, and it wasn't able to happen under President Kennedy's watch, but the basic ideas of that came in form of like the non-proliferation treaty and eventually SALT and START and Open Skies Treaty. So that kind of kick-started the arms control infrastructure that really helped cool down the Cold War.